Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I'm Leon Thomas. I am joined by Johnny Maloney and Austin Yorsky. We are going to talk about some stuff today. Oh, yeah, you live in, like, the wrong time zone.
I live in a time zone.
I don't know
if it's wrong exactly, but it's when compared to all the other time zones, it is wrong 23 out of 24 times, so I'm not sure it's the right one.
It's the wrong time zone because East Coast time zone is always the best time zone. That's when TV shows come on, and we get it first. Austin, are you okay? You were, like, rolling around like a bowling ball. That's what it sounds like.
Did it? I was just adjusting my volume. How does that sound?
In my mind, you were like curled up into a ball, rolling around your home. Maybe I don't know why that image popped into my head, but I just wanted you to know that
Does it sound better now?
It does, and you're not in a ball.
I didn't think so.
Okay.
So how are you guys?
I'm fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I've learned something about myself today.
Oh, that's always a bracing experience.
Yeah, especially.
Is it that you get into way more altercations on the street than you think that you normally do?
Oh no! Someone actually. This has nothing to do with what I was about to say, but since you mentioned it, someone told me, "Fuck you," like a few days ago. Not for any good reason. I don't want to get into the specifics of what one of my day jobs consists of these days, but I was doing it.
I really hope that the lead up to this story is that Leon is like a birthday party clown or something.
Without going into any details about what I do during the day, as I guess what is now my secondary job since Renegade Cut pays most of my money. I was doing my day job, and it involved me holding something, which is not a big deal. Most jobs involve you touching something at some point. I don't feel like I'm giving much away there.
I have to touch a lot of things at my job.
Yeah.
Lots of touching.
And
most of it appropriate.
One of the customers, I guess as a joke, decided to walk up and try to grab it from me, which is not okay. And rather than, like, say, "Ha, you tried to interrupt my work. I'm just trying to make a living to support my wife and myself living," I just kind of turned in the other direction and just left it at that. And she started walking away, and she said, "Fuck you!" And I'm like, why did you do that? Did I not find your comical attempt to ruin my workflow amusing? It was me giving you basically the cold shoulder, just too much for you today? Did you think it was appropriate for you to do that at all? But yeah, someone shouted the F word at me very loudly in a crowded public place, where a lot of people heard, and I really couldn't do anything about it. But that's not what I wanted to tell you about at all.
Yeah, I want to know what you learned about yourself. Let's talk personal growth, guys. Development, actualization.
No, this is not good. This is not good at all. It's like
admitting it is the first step to recovery, though, so it might be positive.
No, I don't feel like this is solvable. What I've learned about myself is that I can hate a child from great distances.
Were you before geographically limited to your ability to hate children?
I feel like most people can only dislike a child if they're like right in your face, picking their nose, being a dick, ruining your life if you happen to have like squirted one out by accident, and now they're just an anchor. But no, I learned this because I watch a show called MasterChef Junior, and the show is great. I don't want to slag on the show. It's actually a really good show, and it gives a lot of young children a chance to shine and to grow and to get new experiences, and also make some money. But I have a problem with a child on the show named Samuel. Here's how I think people should speak in everyday conversation. More or less the way I'm speaking right now. Concisely and explaining what I'm trying to say, because that is the essence of communication. If you're reciting poetry...
Damn it, Johnny, we're going to have to scrap the idea for the word funk and iambic pentameter. It's never gonna work.
What am I gonna do with all these folio pages now?
One of my professors once said something to me. He said, there's a difference between the spoken language and the written language. And his point was then when writing, say, a complicated essay or a novel or a poem or something like that.
Or an OkCupid profile.
You try to make it as eloquent as possible, and that's just part of it. That's part of writing.
Keep your audience in mind. That's all that matters. If you're trying to entertain. If you're trying to inform.
Yeah,
Something that we could probably learn a great deal from on this show.
Yeah.
Said the Word Funk hosts.
Yeah. My show, Renegade Cut, I write it, but I also try to write it in such a way that it's sort of to the point. When I speak, I just speak like a normal human being. This kid doesn't speak like a normal human being. He speaks like he's writing poetry as he's talking, and he's trying to use the largest word with the most syllables possible. So everything he says, it's like, I see the egg. And did you notice the perspicacity of the syntax and diction in which I speak my words to you? And all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there.
Oh God, Leon, confession, I used to be that asshole.
Yeah. I was that asshole too.
Yeah. My wife said, you would have hated me as a child, because I was just like that. And I said, yeah, I probably would have.
Speaking of your wife, I have a bone to pick with her.
What?
She's talking shit about baby corn on Twitter.
What's wrong with baby corn?
Nothing. Baby corn's delicious.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you tell her I said that's not okay.
I will. I'm going to run.
Man, corn can go fuck itself.
Who has any problem with? You know, it's not. I'm getting off.
Your wife.
I'm getting off track. The point is that, and I don't really blame the child, so I shouldn't hate the child. I need to blame the child's parents, because they are either encouraging him to speak in such a way that the child thinks adults speak, but we really don't, which is very misleading, or they have accidentally created this monster, and they have decided that instead of smacking him in the face, they're just gonna not do that.
Or it could just be that trying to overcompensate for their terrible self-esteem for a variety of issues that are none of your business, Leon. God.
Maybe. I just feel like, I don't know. Here's how, when I think of this kid. I'm not a teacher anymore. I used to be, but I'm not anymore.
I like to think that I learn from you every time we speak.
Thank you. If I were a teacher these days, and this child were in my class, I would think, well, at least he's one of the ones who's well behaved, and then I just shrug and let it go. But I have to deal with.
You're honor bound to deal with him.
Yeah, so I have to listen to him say, and the fantastic, exuberant expressiveness of my. So shut the fuck up. You're like James Lipton. Shut up. I can't. Fucking kid. I just hope that he doesn't grow up and stay that way. I hope this is a phase.
Maybe he'll grow out of it and do a stupid show on the internet where he talks about butts.
That'd be great.
I think we can rest assured in one truth that's probably going to come out of this, that if he does stay this way, he is going to get it beaten out of him. The older he gets. I'm sorry, but there's no room for kids like that in sports leagues, in schooling systems, in the DMV, like in lineups at the bank. There's no room for that person.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It seems like, and I said this, but I feel like he's trying to talk like an adult, but we don't really talk that way. And he's gonna get a real rude awakening once he gets to high school. He's like the oldest kid on the show. Everyone else is like 8 or 9 or 10. He's like 13. So it's like, first of all, I don't think that's fair. For one thing. Because it's like when they do those special episodes of Jeopardy where they have high school students, and that other episode of Jeopardy where they have college students. The high school students and the college students don't face each other. That's not fair. So the 8-year-old should not be facing off against this 13-year-old. So I hate him more for that. He's stacking the deck, is what I'm trying to say.
Leon, if he loses too, Leon, he's going to get it whipped out of him at school as well.
Oh, my God.
By the way,
the sharp, smoky, obsidian dagger of social shame shall come down upon his head.
I was gonna say it took just reading some Hemingway and realizing you can make short words sound great too, and then that just kind of naturally, eventually, you grow out of it.
Yeah.
But Leon, you're saying this like you just discovered you're a terrible person, but I decided years ago I just hate all children everywhere, just children, babies, toddlers, like blanket. So you're
Okay.
you're not even on my level yet.
Okay, well, I think a lot of children are just adorable. I mean,
no,
9 out of 10 of these kids from the show are just darling, and that's why I find this so strange for me because kids to me, I was a teacher and I think kids are just charming, but so I just find it very strange that I hate this one so much because this is very unlike me. I don't want our audience to think that that I'm a vindictive person and that I like became a teacher to hurt children, something, or that they squeezed all the love out of me and I'm just an empty husk now. No, this is a very specific case where I dislike one child from a great distance. I bet if I met him, I'd deal with it, but I don't know.
Leon, do you not remember what it was like to be a child?
It wasn't that long ago. I kind of do, and I remember parts.
We were horrible, like terrible, terrible things.
Monsters.
Well, I was.
Sticky and smelly and loud and just like really unpleasant. I mean, really unpleasant. So I think that picking one kid that maybe thinks of himself a little too highly and being like, oh God, I can't stand him is selling yourself a little bit short. That's
okay.
I think you're doing okay if you're just like that one kid as opposed to, God, you know what stinks? Every child ever.
That's Austin, apparently.
I'm sorry, they're not good.
Well, no. I guess when Johnny explains it like that, maybe Austin has a point here. But
name one thing they're good at.
I am fully prepared for the possibility that in the future, if I were to ever procreate, this veneer would drop in front of my face, this veil where I would see my child as like, bereft of these horrible things and just being like, oh, he's so cute. But as long as I can remember in the back of my head, wait, no, this kid is not special. It is smelly, it is sticky, and in some amount of years, it will tell you to go fuck yourself from the high chair.
When I was young, I didn't get in a lot of trouble, but I still caused a fair amount of it. I just never got caught. So I had a good reputation as a child, but I still did bad stuff from time to time. I just somehow got away with it.
I was an annoying little bitch.
Okay. All right, that's a little different, but all right.
I'm going to just not give my take on that because I've said too much about myself on the show before.
All right. Austin, tell us about video games. Video game things happened, and you're going to tell us, right?
Or else. No, it was actually a really busy week in video games, which is strange because it's been really dry the last couple of weeks. We haven't talked too much about video game news, but this week, reviews hit for Dragon Age Inquisition. They were really positive, just 9s and 10s across the board. Everyone loves it. A new Sonic game came out, Sonic Boom. It's terrible, bordering on not finished.
Nobody is surprised by that, though.
Sega did not send out review copies. They already found a glitch in it where you can beat it in under an hour by skipping 80% of the game.
Mm-hmm,
It's essentially like not a complete product.
Oh.
And
Sega did something very nice this week as well.
They did. They put Valkyria Chronicles on Steam, and it sold like gangbusters.
And it's great.
It is.
Yeah.
I played it. I succumbed to Austin's recommendations, and it's good. And I can't wait to stop the Holocaust with the power of friendship.
Yeah.
It's like anime XCOM. It's amazing.
I love how many gay characters are in that game. Can I just talk about that for 1 second?
You totally can.
Yeah, you're the main characters in the game who actually have a lot of spoken dialogue. You don't get into a whole lot about their romantic life, but like every other soldier that you can enlist like a lot of them say they fancy men or they fancy women, and some of them are men and some of them are women, and it just kind of the game just says, oh, by the way, there's like tons of gay people in our game. No one ever talks about that very much when bringing up the fact that Valkyria Chronicle rules. It's also just one of the gayest games that there is. And no, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's great.
It's pretty cool.
They're just casually super gay, and it's great.
Right. It's just. I really dig that the game is just, and it doesn't make there's not a big deal. It's just some just happen to be, and it's just part of the gameplay. It's pretty cool. It actually comes into the gameplay because if your male character is gay, he will somehow want to save the other male characters more.
Yeah. You get a stat boost.
It's pretty cool.
Wanting to look heroic in front of your preferred gender of choice.
Yeah, you get +1 for gay. It's pretty cool.
That's also a possible podcast title.
+1 for gay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead. There was news.
There was news. Well, I mean, it's really the end of an ongoing saga, and it all has to do with Ubisoft. We all know back at E3, they got thrown under the bus for their answer to why there weren't any playable female characters.
They did not get thrown under the bus. They laid down on the road. All right.
And we just hit them.
And it was just like, ba-bump. What was that?
Yeah, it was bad. We've talked about that a little bit before, but that's not even the thing, because I mean they've gone so far ahead. First, they put the embargo for reviews 12 hours after the game's release, and I've talked about the politics of embargoes before. If a company has faith in a product, they'll give it to the reviewers far in advance and let them talk about it. Like they did with Dragon Age Inquisition. The reviews hit this week. They're super positive. Everyone loves it. It comes out next week. They knew it was going to be good, so they wanted people to have time to pre-order. Makes perfect sense. Ubisoft wanted to hide how bad Assassin's Creed Unity is. And to quote Ben Kuchera, they weaponized the embargoes by essentially making it impossible to review the game before it got into people's hands, and they had already spent money. Now, how bad could Assassin's Creed Unity possibly be? Where do we start?
They should have sent a poet.
It runs at 20 frames per second max, and it frequently dips lower. It's a catastrophe, technically. There's all these hilarious glitches. Have you guys seen these things where people's like faces melt off?
I was gonna say today, that, like, I know that a lot of people think that Robespierre was the face of the French Revolution, but removing everybody's face except Robespierre is putting that point a little on the nose, Ubisoft.
I'm gonna put one of these, have you seen them, Leon?
I actually have not. Maybe give me a gift.
They're brilliant.
Here's one in the chat. You might want to use it for the title card for the episode, because it's just delicious.
That is hilarious, but also really scary.
I do this show just, the only reason I'm even here anymore is to hear that laugh from Leon when he just loses it. It's so good. I'm putting more in. I just want to hear it more.
It's horrible. I can't believe that would happen. Oh, hold on.
The game is a mess. It's just hair and teeth. It's like one of those tumors that has like parts in it. It's so good. But that's just scratching the surface. It's not even talking about how like it doesn't improve on the Assassin's Creed formula in any way. They axed the multiplayer. They axed the ships from the last game that everyone loves. The story sucks. They took away all like the meta stuff. Basically, the game
they essentially rebooted the modern day plot too, as I understand it.
But to nothing. It's not like they replaced it with a better plot. It's just Yeah, I don't even want to go there, guys, because this is, I mean, here's what the final verdict is. It's a tech demo for a project that Ubisoft wanted to see how many NPCs they could get on the screen at the same time. That was
for the next Watch Dogs game.
Yeah, it's a tech demo. They're trying to see if they can get like 500 NPCs with unique AI on the screen at the same time. And technically, like finger quotes, they succeeded. But in reality, they just proved that their engine can't handle it. It ruins everything. The game is not good. that's a story in of itself, because, I mean, this is a huge AAA release.
But remember, Austin, remember, the 30 frames per second makes it more cinematic.
If they could even hit 30 frames per second, that wouldn't be enough, but they didn't. They didn't even meet that compromised goal.
Not on the consoles. Apparently, if you own a beast of a PC, you can get it up to, like, 31.
It should be 60.
It should be refresh rate.
So basically, they set their goal way, way, way too high, and then when they realized they could not even come close to reaching it, they just set it higher. They
dropped it and still missed it.
But that just seems terrible. I mean, why didn't they just say, "Oh, this is shit. Let's just scale everything back. Let's start over. We made a horrible mistake. Let's not release this."
Because they need to have an Assassin's Creed game out every single year.
Yeah, every holiday season. That's exactly why. I was going to say, I had an interview with someone earlier. I could find it if you give me a minute. We're talking now. Fuck that. Where he said if it had been bad enough, they would have delayed it, which means that this is acceptable as far as Ubisoft is concerned.
That's frightening.
It is frightening. But that's not the end, Leon. Here's the thing.
What?
The game sucking is one thing. Like, lots of games suck. Who cares? Like,
Sure.
Why waste time talking about it? But it's not even like they cut their losses, because they put in, there are four currencies in this game, in-game currencies, right?
All
Several of them you get for doing different things in the game, but one of them is real money, paying actual cash on top of your $60 investment to get stuff in the game. And then there's another ones you have to, like, get the mobile app or something to do stuff. It's a complete, like, the audacity of it.
So it's just like stuffed with microtransactions and stuff?
Basically, yeah.
Oh.
And not even with a disguise on it. Not like pretending that it's kind of like, oh, well, because I remember that I think it was Dead Space 3, a game that I had problems with as well, was like, you could spend small amounts of money to get, like, weapons that players had designed, or skins or things like that, and it was like, yeah, okay, microtransactions. No, a lot of the microtransactions in Assassin's Creed Unity is buying in-game money.
And also, since the in-game stores weren't live during the review period, no one was able to properly review that stuff. So we weren't even given, like, time to be informed about that. Like, they turned off the store, so people were surprised. Like, some of this DLC, I saw a thing earlier, it goes up to like $99.
So they've made like a really
for money, for fake money in game.
So they made a really horrible, allegedly AAA version of Candy Crush.
Wow. You just summed that up really good. Why I wasted like 20 minutes trying to give the story like grounding, and you just killed it.
Okay. Alright, here's a question. And I know this doesn't make it right, but are they planning on patching all of this? At least the glitch stuff.
I mean, one assumes that they're going to try to continue
planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's going to happen.
I mean, they're going to try to sell DLC probably, so that one assumes that someone's working on it somewhere.
Here's what I think. Here's their diabolical plan. Release a half-finished game, and then say, here's the completed version, it costs you another $60. And that's the real DLC that they're trying to sell you. The rest of the game.
I think they just ran out of time. They had to get it out early November for holidays. And
it's just so stupid, though. I mean, I'm sorry, but, like, you must have other games that you could have put out. If you didn't have any other games, then just wait, and then you'll make more.
Far Cry 4 is dropping next week.
It is.
Let's just wait a little while longer, and then your game will be good, and it will make more money anyway. So there isn't. Look, this isn't like the Saw movies where you have to have one out every Halloween because that's the best time. No, I mean Assassin's Creed is a very lucrative franchise. I mean, if they're making one a year, one assumes that it is.
Yeah, they came out 2 this year.
Okay, well, then there you go. If you can release Assassin's Creed twice a year and people will buy it, then you can wait a few months and people will still buy it. They'll probably buy it more because it won't suck.
But Leon, if they delayed Unity, it would go into the release window for the next Assassin's Creed they have lined up. It'll bring the whole system to a crash. They can't. There's
I know,
too many
and
of them in the pipeline.
And then they would just have a couple of extra months to develop all of them so that they would all work properly, and nobody wants that.
Oh,
But think about Assassin's Creed, Johnny. You and I have played like an unreasonable amount of these games.
Yeah, officially unreasonable is the right adjective.
It's a relatively new IP, but there's like 10 of them if you count them, even like the portable ones. And there are some pretty like foundational issues with the series, like just the core gameplay, and there's no time to address any of that because they have to rebuild like historical cities and like add like gimmicks and stuff. So just none of the things that underlie this are getting addressed. So
and they need to decide what hammy accent they're gonna have the next character have to speak.
Yeah, I love the Italian accents in 2. Why are the French revolutionaries British?
I was kind of like
that's like Les Mis influence because all the French characters speak in like Cockney accents and shit.
Well, in the first one, they didn't really have any accents, and
no, the Animus filtered them out.
And that's the thing, is that Desmond asks at one point in time, he's like, how come I can understand everybody if blah, blah, blah? And it's like, oh, well, historically speaking, your ancestor knows what was going on. So it's kind of like, you know what's going on? So you might think you're hearing English, but that's just because your brain is, like, the Animus is kind of helping you along.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, the Animus 2.0 apparently turns Italian into Italian with wacky Italian accents. Hey, it's Ezio! Let's grab a pizza pie!
I like the TARDIS excuse from the first one, but then they went to the Italian, and I thought that worked well. I wish they kind of would have stuck with that. It was
right. It occurred to me funny then, but if they just stuck with it, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
But one more thing.
They obviously did not.
One more thing before we move off this topic, because we used like 15 minutes at the beginning talking about stuff that I don't know if Leon's going to leave in the show. Cause
I'll leave it.
Thank you. I just wanted to say...
Cold Stone's version, Austin hates kids.
I do. I've actually... okay, I don't want to go off on that tangent again. Johnny, do you want to talk about real quick? Ubisoft seemed like they were going to force people to download their new AAA titles through Uplay. They were playing like a game of chicken with Steam, but they blinked.
Well, we don't know what the hell happened. We don't really know what happened. Yeah. Okay, the story basically goes that a future Ubisoft titles got pulled from the Steam store in the UK. When questioned about it, Ubisoft said that they were in talks with Valve about how best to, accessibility, bring to the relationship to the customer, and big hug, guy, and we love you. Yeah, you're the man. It didn't really mean anything, right? But they basically said, yeah, at this point in time, we feel that Steam is not the best way for us to get our product to customers in the UK. And then conjecture was flying around everywhere about how Ubisoft was obviously getting in a fight with Steam about how Steam controls regional pricing. People were drawing allegories to when Electronic Arts pulled all their stuff off of Steam, saying, oh, maybe this is a DLC problem, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, within a day, Ubisoft titles disappeared from, like, Steam all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a matter of days before they came back. And they came back unceremoniously. They just kind of popped back up again, like a gopher who just, right out of the lawn, like, what the fuck's going on? I'm back!
Tony Desillier?
It just... And nobody said anything about it. Nobody was like, oh, okay, well, why did that happen?
I mean, what could they possibly say? They're like, yeah, we were trying to hold out for more money, but it didn't work out. Sorry. Like, they're not going to admit that.
I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if Steam maybe had a problem with the concept of Ubisoft trying to sell in-game currency, not DLC, but in-game currency.
Well, there are microtransactions in games on Steam right now. My immediate thought was that they just wanted to do what EA did, which was move focus to, Uplay as EA did with Origin, which would be short-sighted, and that's my theory, but I don't know about...
I mean, it's possible, but Uplay is not ready for it.
That's 100% true.
they've been trying to beef it up. They really have, and there's been a couple of like things that they've done, which is like, oh, okay, that's better, where you can like link your Uplay account to your Steam account now, so that they're like brothers in arms. Which weirdly enough, I guess, was also a Ubisoft title. But it's still obviously not ready. Like, nobody comes home from work or school and is just like, oh man, I can't wait to boot up Uplay and see what brand new games are out in the store. You know, they're not really supporting third-party titles. It's not very well made. I don't even have a friends list on Uplay right now because I don't need it. But, so maybe it was. Maybe they were trying to move focus like that. Maybe Steam was having a problem with some of the things. Like, it's possible that they might have had a problem with this. Wait a minute, you're going to be having money transactions through a game that people buy on Steam and we're not getting a cut of the action?
I guess so.
You know, because maybe Ubisoft thought that this was like, haha, it's not really DLC. And maybe Steam took exception to that. Maybe then what happened was that Ubisoft said, oh, okay, well, you know, like if that's the way it's going to be, then we don't want to sell Unity or any of our future games in the UK. And Steam said, oh, okay, well, maybe we don't want to sell your games. Like, who knows who backed down here? Who knows, like, why they got pulled? Like, you know, maybe Steam had a hard line and they were like, you know what? Unless this is the rule and unless you meet it, we're not going to be selling your games anymore. And Ubisoft was like, oh no, I mean, that's okay. Or maybe Ubisoft did, like you said, suggest, pull their games and be like, what do you think of that, Valve? And then all the consumers were like, oh well, guess I'm not going to be playing any new Ubisoft games. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Maybe it was a promotional move. Maybe they were like, haha, maybe we can sell more units of Unity if we pretend like we're not selling it on Steam. And then when we bring them back to Steam, people go, oh god, I better buy it before it goes off Steam again.
The conspiracy runs deep.
It was a weird thing, and I'm not sure what to think of it.
It's strange, and it's just a weird coda to all the other shenanigans we discussed. I don't know. I thought it was worth bringing up, but I wouldn't buy anything from them right now, is all I'm saying.
I played Assassin's Creed 1, and then that's basically how I felt about it. And
Yeah.
I have no plans to buy any other games right now because I'm playing Just Cause 2, and I feel like this will take me quite a while to get through everything I can do in this game because it just gives me so many opportunities to blow shit up.
Oh,
Well, you
and
got
Just Cause...
plenty of time for the third one.
Yeah, I'll definitely get the third one just based on, a small fraction of the game I've played so far in 2. So we got to move on to our next topic. Johnny, hit us. This was some mad news.
Crazy mad, right?
Yeah.
Like, straight up, I'm not even gonna,
I felt like you had something there.
I was gonna, and then I thought better of it.
Okay.
I thought better of it. But, yeah. So, stars, though? I mean, I just gotta ask this question. I'm really sorry, okay? You know, when I think to myself about networks that are kind of hosting, like, premium exclusive shows, I think to myself, obviously HBO, because, I mean, they've announced they're going to be adapting Isaac Asimov's Foundation books to a TV show. You don't do that unless you fucking know what you're doing. But HBO's going to do it. I think Showtime, to a certain extent. Even AMC. Stars?
Well, here's the thing about Stars. Stars is actually putting out quality programming now. I'm not saying I've seen all these shows, but apparently Outlander is amazing. Apparently,
I've heard that Outlander is really good.
There's another show that I'm about to start watching called I think it's called Da Vinci's Monsters, and Alexander Siddig from Deep Space Nine is in it, and so I have to watch it.
So it's obviously going to be good.
It's apparently it's very good. Like nominated for like awards up the wazoo. So, yeah, apparently there are good shows on Stars, and this is going to be one. By the way, you mentioned Stars, but didn't tell us why you were mentioning Stars.
I realized that.
Topic.
No, I know that. I know. This is, I'm whetting appetites here. Everybody's like, now everybody's talking Stars. They're like, oh, what is it about Stars? Quick, I need to go to Google. I tell you, you don't have to Google. It's Evil Dead, the TV series. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell both have decided that they're going to. I'm just going to go ahead and use the word conclude, because from everything that I've read on the subject, they're basically saying, yeah, it's going to be a 10 half-hour episodes that's going to basically finalize the adventures of Ash. It's going to be called Ash vs. Evil Dead, I think, is the working title that they have right now. We'll see if that changes by the time it actually releases. But yeah, it is going to be a continuation of the stories of Ashley Williams post Army of Darkness, battling the horrors of the Deadites.
I have two concerns. First and foremost, I'm excited. But I do have two concerns. The first is, does this mean Army of Darkness 2, the movie, is not happening? Because I feel like if there's no reason to have both, I'd be fine with both, but I feel like Army of Darkness 2 was going to be a thing, and now there's a television series instead or in addition, because that's unclear.
If it's instead, we're getting more.
Yeah.
It's a 10 episode run of half an hour's apiece.
Yeah, and it could be
picked
picked up be picked up for a second season too. So it's not like this is solely a miniseries, and we definitely will never see more. Okay, if it's instead, then that's still fine. And my other concern, are we going to get how do I put this, an old Indiana Jones kind of thing going on? Bruce Campbell is not a young man. He is like 50-something. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying that on the show Burn Notice, I believe most of what he does is sit and drink. So I'm not sure how much he's going to be like leaping around with chainsaws and shit. Am I wrong here, or is he still spry? And I just haven't.
As long as they don't bring in a Shia LaBeouf to take over for him, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, we don't need a Wesley Crusher.
The best thing about Ash has always been like the wit and the zaniness and groovy and all that stuff. It's not acrobatics exactly, but it's still evil. Especially Evil Dead 2 was very like intense. Had him sort of flopping around all over the place.
If I were them, I'd work it into the story, though. Like, he's older now, and he's getting too old for this shit,
Yeah, there's a world weariness. Particularly when you look at his character arc by the end of the Army of Darkness movie, he's not even fazed by it anymore.
Unless you see
he's kind of like, son of a bitch,
Unless you watch the alternate ending, in which case he's very upset.
I really, really wish that they were going from the alternate ending. The alternate ending was, perfect for me, but, I loved the alternate ending to Army of Darkness. I slept too long!
That's how I feel every morning. I see 8:30 on my alarm, and I say, nope, 9. And then I realize I could have been using that to do something, and I scream that. But I'm excited about this. I liked all three movies, especially the first one. I know everyone says 2 is much better, and Army of Darkness is somehow better, but I always felt like I liked the first one more than the others, just because it was the most like a horror movie, and the other.
Earnest. There was an earnestness
to
the first Evil Dead, whereas the second one, and especially Army of Darkness, you could completely tell the winking at the camera, that like, you get it?
But yeah, I'm excited. This should be good. It's gonna be, like you said, on Stars, but for many of us who don't even get Stars, the internet exists, and there will be in some way availability for someone to watch it. So
this does kind of make me a little curious though, because we've recently seen a couple of things come back to mainstream culture, and not in a way that it normally does. Like, normally when things come back to popular culture after like 20 years of absence, it's like, hey, why don't we reboot Ghostbusters? You know, but this is like the second the second announcement probably in as many months for me that are like, what the hell?
Was the other one Twin Peaks?
Yeah, the other one obviously Twin Peaks, like a 20-year-old franchise that nobody's wanted to touch, and nobody's gone like, oh hey, why don't we reboot Twin Peaks? I mean, people have tried to capture the magic, but I mean, Evil Dead even did get a reboot. It got a reboot film last year.
Well, here's what I think about that. I think that these, like, let's say older properties are gaining a new life just because communication has changed. You know, Twin Peaks showed up on Netflix, and Twin Peaks showed up, you know, in such a way that people have been able to experience it again, and it just gained a new following.
So what I'm hearing from you is I can blame Prometheus on the internet.
You can blame or give credit to, let's say, nostalgic resurgence on the internet, yes.
Yeah, it used to be like whatever's on TV, you're just stuck with it. Like, you watch it or you don't. But now people can, like, talk about stuff and, like, recommend stuff, and then you can find it streaming, and it brings new audiences. I think Netflix really is the factor here, because they brought back Arrested Development, and that was a big success, and that was a kind of a niche thing. And everyone wants to be Netflix. They're raking in money hand over fist. So it makes sense to me that they would try to get other niche series and bring them back to have them as, you know, feathers in their cap. I don't really know what a Stars is, but now I'm aware of it now. So, success so far.
All right.
So I can still hold out hope for that Death of Superman movie starring Nick Cage?
As soon as well, frankly, once the DC Cinematic Universe, like, collapses,
optimism.
They're gonna do that. No,
Stay now, baby!
They'll be fine. Okay, anything more we want to say on this before we move on to our, possibly last topic? I'm not sure how much time we have. Not a lot.
We have 15 minutes.
Okay.
I want them to
swallow your soul.
I want them to bring back Firefly, but have Adam Baldwin play himself. Instead of Jane, just make him a foaming at the mouth, weird, like, homophobic, conservative dick bag. And then just have...
It's about ethics and games journalism.
And then Mal just fucking airlocks his ass. That's how the first episode of the reboot ends.
The thing about bringing back Firefly now, and I actually have thought about that, Joss Whedon could not be more different from Adam Baldwin. So I feel like in the first episode of season 2 of Firefly one day, you don't actually cast Adam Baldwin. You just see the back of Jane's head, and Mal shoots him in the back of the head, and everyone says, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, and he looks at the camera and winks, and he says, "You know why." That's it. Oh. All right, we have to go into our third and final topic. Here's the thing. The first 2 Fantastic Four movies sucked. And I'm not talking about the one from like 20-something years ago or 30 years ago that wasn't officially released. I'm talking about the ones that had...
But it also sucked.
Okay. But I'm talking about the ones that had huge budgets and a few big stars. Michael Chiklis and Jessica Alba were in it, and also Chris Evans, who became a huge star. Looking back, I guess, yeah, I mean, the first 2 Fantastic Four movies looked like they're like packed with huge stars just because Captain America's in it. But at the time, he was like nobody. Anyway,
I have a soft spot too for the guy who played Reed Richards, whose name I can scarcely pronounce because it's so Welsh.
Okay. All right. I can't remember his name at all because apparently that was his like second or third acting job.
No. He did an A&E Masterpiece Theater series about Horatio Hornblower. He was in Titanic briefly as like one of the helmsmen or something like that, or first mate or whatever. But I've always had a soft spot for him.
Okay. Well, they in spite of that, these movies sucked dick. And they were just incredibly bad.
Not even in a fun way, right?
No, not even in a way that they're like amusing. But
It was
just-
like all teeth. Just
I wasn't even never mind. Look.
And like spare bits of floss that are still like stuck, and you get tied up, and
just not into it at all. Anyway, sorry, Liam. We hijacked you.
I brought it up and it's my fault. No, but they were very bad. And they're making a new one, which I guess is a good thing. They're rebooting it. They're not trying to bring back the old actors and trying to build off Rise of the Silver Surfer, which I think is a smart thing. They're bringing in a new team. Everything is new.
And Billy Elliot is playing Ben Grimm.
Oh, well, but the newest new thing is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is going to be in this one, like I guess he just has to be. But it's not the Doctor Doom we know. It's not the dictator of Latveria, not the man who mixes magic and science into some sort of
Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, there's no it's not that guy. It's not the man with the scars and all that good stuff. It is actually an angry antisocial blogger, who his name is Victor, but he goes by Doom as his internet handle because first of all, alright, two things about that. First, that's fine by me in a general sense. I don't care that they're reimagining a character that's been done a million times before and they want to do something else with it. That part's fine. Here's the other part. No one's named Doom on the internet because that name, as soon as the internet happened, someone picked Doom, and everyone who's been after that has been like Doom 1992 or some shit like that. No one has like a one-word username that's completely distinct. That's just preposterous. My username on the internet is Leon Thomas because that's what it has to be.
Doesn't it require 6 characters and one has to be a number or something? You can't just say Doom.
Maybe it's Doom with a bunch of O's. And you have to say Doom.
And one of them's a 0.
Oh, I would love it if it was Doom D00M and that was his real username. Plus, tilde, exclamation point. No, but, they're basically going in a different direction with, the character. Here, they could have just made a new character and had it have nothing to do with Victor Von Doom, but they...
How many recognizable villains do the Fantastic Four have? There's the big purple guy, there's the Silver Surfer, there's Doom, and...
There's a bunch of Marvel villains that they
don't have the film right. Fox doesn't have the film rights to any of those guys.
That's part of it. The other is that some of the villains that the Fantastic Four face in the Marvel universe are not specific to the Fantastic Four. They just do they have
I think they deal with the Skrulls a lot, don't they? The Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I mean everyone does. That's like a shared thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm almost positive that the Skrulls and the Kree are being used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know the Kree definitely are.
Yes, yeah, but I mean, what else is Fox gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, but you might have a point. I mean, it kind of has to be Doom, and they just don't want to do the guy in the metal face and the ridiculous green cloak.
Can they call it Fantastic Four? Actually, it's about ethics in games journalism.
Oh God! Don't you bring that evil in here, Johnny?
Oh my!
He's an antisocial programmer, blogger. He calls himself Doom.
I'm all for reimagining the villain, like the expected villain. Like no one wanted Heath Ledger to do the animated series Joker. It's cool when you try to shake it up a little bit, but this just sounds dorky.
Yeah, the Heath Ledger version of Joker is still pretty much the Joker, just, new scars and a slightly different MO, but
if he had been like a gym teacher or something, you'd have been like, okay, that's not the Joker.
His name is just Frank the gym teacher, and sometimes he wears lipstick.
Do you want to know how I learned to do all these push-ups? On the ropes, Jimmy!
In all seriousness, I'm actually fine with this because I have low expectations of the new Fantastic Four movie.
So you have expectations?
Low expectations, I say, meaning I expect to eventually see it because I'm curious about superhero movies, but I don't have any great desire to just go to the theater. I'll probably just watch it in passing once it comes out and I can rent it. Or if I just hear it is shit, I'll just pass because even I would say no because an hour and a half out of my life is still too much.
Spoilers, Leon, it's shit.
If it does well, I really hope that, because of course everybody wants to have their own cinematic universe. I hope that Fox decides to make a movie about Doom's origins, and I hope they call it Doctor Doom: The LiveJournal Years.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't it be great if his home base was just this really elaborate castle, but it was just called 4chan?
Oh my god.
Welcome to 4chan, and then everyone rolls their eyes like, oh, child porn. Alright, so,
instead of getting his, iconic Doom mask, he gets a Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh my
God. Alright.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that we're probably having fresher ideas than the people that are actually writing the script.
I mean, this feels like, remember when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Bay movie were going to be aliens, and then they buckled on that? I feel like there's no way they're going to go through with this, right? Has this already been filmed?
No. I don't think filming is underway.
I bet money on them changing it.
Okay. All right. We have to go. Anything you guys want to say before we take off?
We still have 5 minutes, Leon.
We have 4 minutes, and I really have 3 because I have to move the television that I use for my computer monitor into the bedroom to hook up and then watch FX. You don't understand.
I don't understand
how my life works.
I got something to say.
Yeah.
Say it.
How would you guys feel about starting a barbershop quartet with me that musicalizes C-SPAN?
I knew it was a bad idea to give you a chance to talk.
We need a 4th. I mean, that's what quartet means.
Well, the joke would be that we'd only be a trio.
That's hilarious, Johnny. I'm sure that'll never get old. It's already old, by the way.
You used to listen to Ween, right, Austin?
I have.
Yeah,
they're not my favorite. They're fine.
No, but I think one of their best jokes was the album that was 12 country greats, but it was only 9 songs long.
I also I think Dream Theater's best of collection is called is a greatest hit and 22 other songs.
Yeah.
Because they only have the one hit. Are either of you still watching The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I am.
No, I gave it up at the end of the 2nd season. Scratch that, at the beginning of the 3rd season.
I say that specifically because I remember someone saying they stopped watching. I think it's getting good again, Johnny.
Yeah, but how much bad stuff do I have to watch
a lot
to get to that good stuff? And that's just that's time I'm not willing to put in. That's bad investment.
I agree with the idea that it's getting better. The last few episodes have been really disappointing. The new season has been really bad. Yeah, I feel like
it's better than the other stuff at least.
Really? I think it's been shit. But
do you remember how bad the second and third season was, Austin? Because better than that is not a benchmark.
Oh, I agree, but I don't know why I'm even watching it. I just noticed that I'm actually enjoying it for the first time in a long time.
They call it Stockholm Syndrome.
All right, we have to go. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Don't tell me what to do, Leon.
Fine, don't.
You're not my real dad.
That you know.
I know, right?
I'm old enough to. No, I'm not. Wait, how old are you?
23.
No, I'm not old enough to be your dad. Unless I was really sexually active when I was 9.
I didn't vote for either one of you. You don't speak for me.